The Institute of Leadership and Management recognises great leadership as being multidimensional. We identify 5 dimensions: authenticity, vision, achievement, ownership and collaboration. We've broken down those 5 dimensions into 49 components, which enable us to organise our resources in such a way as to help individuals access the leadership development that is immediately relevant to them. This video introduces adaptability, part of the dimension of achievement.
So adaptability sits firmly in the Institute of Leadership and Management's framework. We also break down adaptability into 3 what we call spotlights, which give a little bit more information. And we have adapting your style, distributed leadership, and Vuca. Okay, so adaptability then. It's very important for the Institute of Leadership and Management because achieving leaders adapt to changing circumstances. And we see the adaptable leader as someone who displays resilience, someone who is resilient, calm under pressure, and also they act as a role model by using different methods of communication to suit different circumstances. They're quite comfortable with ambiguity, open to change, and of course, they are always learning new ways of thinking and new ways of doing things. And being adaptable, they work well with diverse groups. Now, how to be more adaptable? Well, the secrets to being more adaptable is you've got to improve your communication skills and your ways of thinking. Come out of your comfort zone, try new initiatives, and really importantly, keep an eye open and keep a mind open on different options. Reflection is important. The learning from reflection, reflecting on your decisions and the outcomes of those decisions, and also learning from others. And as a leader, if you're going to be adaptable, you should always encourage adaptability and flexibility in others. One of the most popular models for adaptability in terms of leadership is the situational leadership model developed by Dr. Paul Hersey in the late 1960s. The situational leadership model is based on the relationship between leaders and followers and serves as a framework to analyse each particular situation. And each particular situation will be analysed in terms of the amount of guidance and direction, which is task behaviour a leader gives, or the amount of support or relationship behaviour a leader provides. Now, looking at the quadrants, the telling style is for individuals that they lack the specific skills required for the job and they're willing to work at the task in hand, but they're actually not very new at the job. They're novices, but they're enthusiastic. Now, for the selling style, the individuals are able to do the task, but they're actually demotivated for this job or task. So you would have to explain the decisions and provide opportunity for clarification. Now, individuals that are experienced and able to do the task, but lack the confidence or the willingness to take on responsibility, then that is a participative style where you share ideas and facilitate in making decisions. And the final quadrant of this model is the delegating style. Individuals are experienced at the task, they're comfortable with their own ability to do it well, and they're not only willing to do the task, but they're willing to take responsibility. So that is the 4th quadrant, the delegating style. Now, this is actually a very relevant time to actually introduce this topic of distributed leadership. Now, distributed leadership is not the same as delegation. It's systemic. The practice of distributed leadership is systemic in the organization. And importantly, there is recognition that leadership can exist anywhere in the organization, irrespective of position in the organization. There's collaboration between leaders. Leaders have a shared purpose, and leaders then also take responsibility for their actions. I have to apologise, I think, for this quote because it's really quite a lengthy quote, but it really brings out some of the essence of distributed leadership. As Lehman says, it goes beyond the idea of delegating responsibilities, but introduce the idea of an organizational culture that allows people to take leadership in areas or at particular moments they feel that it is beneficial for the organization. They're well equipped to do it, they've got the energy to do it, and others are willing to support them and collaborate to reach the expected results. This is very pertinent. In that sense, it is a very different view of leadership, which was advocated in past decades with a lot of focus on the great leader or the great man and people like Steve Jobs. And at the current climate, this really is pertinent in terms of the leadership of the country at the moment. Is there such a thing as distributed leadership, or should leadership reside in one person or one man? So a very interesting and relevant topic, distributed leadership. The next topic we need to look at is this idea of Vuca. And Vuca is actually taken from the military, a situation where the environment is so volatile that you have to react quickly to ongoing, rapid and significant changes that are unpredictable and they're out of control. And if this isn't bad enough, the environment is uncertain. You actually are required to take action in situations where events and outcomes are unpredictable. And complexity, the environment is dynamic with multiple interconnected issues and factors, and it's ambiguous. You really don't know where you are. There's a lack of clarity, and it's actually difficult to understand exactly where you are. As I said, this idea was taken from the military, but it is now argued that the business environment is such that leaders should be comfortable with actually working in a VUCA business environment. Now, the unpredictability of VUCA makes it actually very difficult to plan for change. And change, I think most of you would have heard this before, change should be seen as the normal. It's not something that you can plan for accurately and be certain that what you plan for will occur, because change is something that is ongoing and you have to be comfortable with it. Pierce 2017 argues that leaders need certain capabilities for a VUCA world. They've got to create a sense of purpose. They've got to make their organisation and the people in their organisation understand where they are going and what the purpose is and what the purpose of everyone in that organisation is. And we bring in systems thinking. It's not just down to one team or one individual. The organisation should be seen as a system. And the leadership team needs to be developed. And also human capital needs to be developed. A lot of interest and a lot of work and expertise in learning to make sure that everyone learns from the situations and we have a learning organisation. And also the idea of a social capital, that in the organisation to actually deal with this rapid change, you build strong social relationships within an organisation. And this leads on to the idea of having an organisational culture that is used to change, that is familiar to change, and doesn't see something as a one-off that you can prepare for and then forget about till the next change occurs. Change is ongoing, and you need a culture that learns and develops and progresses as change develops. And the mitigation of VUCA. For the volatility of VUCA, you need the vision. You actually need someone to actually set out the vision to ensure that, you, as I say, you know where you're going and you have a clear vision of what you are going. Uncertainty, try and get at least some understanding of what is happening. Make sure that you actually develop your expertise to be aware of change and actually what is driving the change, the forces behind the change. Try and understand it. Complexity, try where possible through good communication, good understanding, and actually developments within your organisation to provide clarity, a consistent message so that people know where they are and what you stand for. And ambiguity. In an ambiguous situation, you have to be agile as an organisation. You have to be prepared to change, to move, to change priorities, and actually focus with a strong vision on the new change. You have to be agile, and that really is a key word now for many organisations and development in many organisations. Final thoughts on this is that when you adapt your style to others, you actually build bridges to them, and they respect your approach because it's the approach they like and they're used to it, and they'll trust you more and they will think more highly of you. So if we now go to looking at my leadership, assess your capability on adaptability. We have a series of statements on my leadership, and if you actually go through the statements, and you will, I'm sure, confidently prove competent in adaptability, you will then actually receive a digital badge and say, congratulations, you've met the Institute of Leadership and Management standards for adaptability.